Okay, so I did just kind of clamp this in the wood pieces of my workmate, and I just kind of used a little mechanical leverage to pull it free. So you can see inside here. I'm sure I can get a very good angle in there. Clearly it's a used engine, as I'd already determined. So it would appear that it's this whole crankshaft that's just locked up. Top of the piston does show some usage, so trying to just see if I can't get that to come up and off, but it looks like the crankshaft is going to have to be turned to some degree just to be able to get me to get this thing to come off, because the skirt's not clearing the casing. I mean, it's starting to pull off the connecting rod, but it's just not clearing the casing. And I don't think I'll be too successful in just extracting this wrist pin. So I'm probably going to have to go out there in my workmate and see. You know what, I can take this timing gear off. I was going to say I may just have to clamp this thing into wood and manually rotate it around a bit, but in the meantime I can take timing housing off here. How is that feeling like it's not the right size? It is the right size. See if I got some garbage in that head. Looks like this should go right in there. Yikes. Yeah, there's a bunch of crap in there. That's all rusty and nasty. Yeah, I'm going to have to go and apply some more heat to this thing and get that to at least rotate up enough so I can get the piston connecting rod disconnected from the crankshaft. Okay, well, I was able to get the piston off of this. I'll have to work on that. I still can't get this crankshaft to turn over at all. I think I'm just going to go straight to trying to get it to come out. And here's where I am going to use some of this 3-in-1 oil. I'm going to load this area up real good. Heat this up really hot. Let's see if I can't rotate it some more. And it's starting to want to work a little bit, but rotating it isn't the goal anymore. It's getting this whole crankshaft out of the crankcase now, which is what I've got to get done. And I don't think my gear puller is going to be big enough to get over the length of this shaft. Yep, that's what I was afraid of. So I'm not going to be able to use this, unfortunately. So somehow I'm going to have to use a lot of heat to try to break this mechanical bond here because this is a stout bond. Without the aid of a gear puller, that's really going to suck. So anyway, that's where we stand with that. I'll turn the video on again when I get more pieces disassembled. Just as I shut the video off in that last little segment to go out to heat it up, which is why I have my glove on, I managed to just kind of put a little bit more force on that, so now I've got this thing rotating here. Now you can hear, and it doesn't sound good. These bearings need to be replaced anyway. This is an engine probably from the mid-80s, mid to early 80s, and I'm sure these are probably the original bearings. So I'm still stuck with the task of trying to figure out how to get this thing off. I'm going to have to just do the pound method where I heat this thing up and just pound the crankshaft to try to break that mechanical bond. I'd prefer not to do that. I'd really like to use my gear puller, but unfortunately it just doesn't have the span, and I really don't have the money to go and buy a larger one. So we're going to try this. If I have to buy a larger one, I guess I'll have to, but I really don't want to. Okay, so that turned out to be much easier than I had hoped. I just heated the hell out of this thing. Got it really hot, and then just took it out and put the back into the case on a piece of wood, and with a little Phillips stubby head screwdriver I put right in that little dimple in the end of the crankshaft and tapped it a few times with a 16-ounce hammer, and it came right out. As you can see, this is going to need some serious cleaning. I'm not sure if I'm going to pull out the ultrasonic cleaner to do this or how I'm going to clean this. Still kind of experimenting with solutions to use in that, and I don't have any simple green, which I've heard is a good one to use, but I do have the LA's Totally Awesome cleaner, which I might use. So here's the front bearing. I don't know if this is a stock Saito bearing or not, but I've never seen, I didn't know that they would use a rubber seal, double rubber seal bearing on the front. Now it seems to rotate pretty good, but I've got all new bearings coming, and this back bearing obviously is pretty gross. I mean, it spins, it makes noise, catches, it's notchy, it's dirty and old, so it's going to get replaced. And this crankshaft is so gnarly looking, I'm not even really sure what it's supposed to look like. But it'll look a lot different after I soak it in some, this is going to get soaked in probably some CLR, since this is all hardened steel items here. This is going to need some CLR. And then this guy, I'll probably get a little small socket here and just like this. Tap that guy out. Just like that. So that's all apart. So now this pretty much only leaves me dropping the valves on this head, but I think I want to get some of these other parts in to soak while I do that. And I'm going to drop the valves in this head. The valves are sticky enough so that I don't need to actually stuff anything up in here to hold them up. Looks like all I need to do is just push that thing down with my thumbnail and get that collet off, that keeper, and it should just drop right out. There's the exhaust intake valve. Intake valve. Grab them both with one time with that one. That magnet pull. And there's our exhaust valve. So this exhaust valve really tells the story of how much runtime this engine has. You can see there's carbon buildup, or there's carbon coloring on that valve. I feel a layer, I feel a layer of carbon. I mean, I can just run my fingernail on it and I can feel it, so it's not just discolored, there's actually a layer. on there, and you can see a lot of this is coming right off on my hand here. So I'm going to drop this in some LA's Totally Awesome cleaner along with these other parts and let them soak for a few minutes, and probably even drop this head in some Totally Awesome cleaner, or at least at minimum get some toothpicks saturated with it and go in there and clean that up a little bit.